everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Ledger. I forgot to play whatever music I was going to play. Hold up, wait a minute. Listen, I'm recording in a way that I can't just, add stuff in later because I'm lazy, and because it is quite difficult. So, it is what it is. There's no musica. No musica. What is that? Anyway, yeah. Happy almost New Year, everyone and anyone. I'm Kaje. This is the Nerd Ledger. I'm gonna be talking about some nerd stuff, but then I'm gonna be talking about some other stuff. So who knows? Really, priority uno is to talk about the latest Doomsday teaser, the Thor one, okay, the Thor one. And then, I kind of want to talk about some of the stuff that happened in 2025 in our nerd realm, and then some of the stuff happening in 2026 in our nerd realm. It won't be a full kind of thing. It'll be more of a overview and kind of stuff like that, because I'll probably do the full thing with Cher when he's here. And then I'll kind of talk about some personal stuff. I'll wait till the end because I don't want to bore anybody. So I'll talk about some personal stuff as far as 2025 for me and some of the things, and then talk about Christmas a little bit and what we did, and stuff like that. A little catch up, whatever. So first, the Thor Doomsday teaser. Another teaser that kind of it's just there, right? And so this is the thing I think that we reported on a little bit, Cher and I, about how a lot of influencers are real upset about how they're doing these teaser releases, because it started with the Steve Rogers one, and now we have a Thor. And then the next one, obviously, it's already been spoiled out there. We know it's going to be kind of an X-Men one, and then there's another one after that, right? So, and then eventually we'll get the full thing or something, right? Who knows? But they're just kind of pointless, right? Like, you can infer a lot from them, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that sometimes that's a recipe for disaster, because you start reading way too much into things. You start having expectations, and then you go watch the movie, and it does none of the stuff you thought was going to happen happens, and then you think the movie's bad, even though you just had weird expectations. But the thing with it is, like, the first one with Steve Rogers, people were upset in general just because, I talked about it a little bit in my last podcast. So, people are just upset that they're bringing Steve Rogers back. But he had a baby in there, and then you had people speculating: is it his baby? Is it Franklin Richards? Is it whatever? And now we have the Thor trailer, the Thor teaser, and Thor, he has his daughter, and people are gonna come to conclusions. They're gonna say, oh well, it's about their children, and then Franklin Richards, obviously, and it's all this stuff that whatever. To me, it's all meaningless, right? All that stuff, like. They're doing these things to protect, it seems like, their children, or to protect their their comfortability, right? Like, their lives as they know it in some way, shape, or form. But even that is a dangerous conclusion to come to, because at the end of the day, Steve Rogers and Thor are heroes, and they are going to answer the call to action, right? Because that's what they do. I mean, that's what it means, right? When I think a lot of people maybe peripherally don't think a lot about the line, with great power comes great responsibility. Everyone says it, but do people actually think about what it means? What it means is, when you have right, and they've said it in different ways throughout different versions of Spider-Man, but essentially what it means is, when you have the power to do something, you have a responsibility to do it, and that's what happens with every hero, right? So, I don't know what conclusions we're supposed to come to with these teasers, other than they're just there to be what they are. They're teasers. I do think that the Thor one obviously is a different tone to the Thor we've gotten in his past two films, two-ish films, where he's more of a funny character. He's joking. Excuse you. He's comic relief in a lot of ways, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but there are a lot of different versions of Thor in comics, and there are more jokey ones, but there are also very serious, powerful Thors, right? Like more so kind of what we see in the end of Endgame, right? The God of Thunder Thor, the guy, right? The powerhouse kind of guy, the actual god. And so I think we'll see more of that, right? In Doomsday. In the teaser, we kind of get this sense, right? We see him praying to Odin for the strength to fight again to protect his family. And so, yeah. There wasn't as much response to this one from fans in general as there was to the Steve Rogers one. Obviously, we all kind of knew Thor would be back, so no real surprise. But yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see the next one. I know people are pretty hyped about that one. I won't spoil it for people who don't know about what it's about, but yeah. So that's the Thor thing. All right, next thing. 2025. Like today is New Year's Eve. We're wrapping up 2025. Not a lot of stuff in 2025. Like there were some things, but there wasn't a whole bunch. And I think obviously a lot of that's intentional. So let's talk about what there was. So a couple of things that we didn't talk about, Cher and I: Peacemaker Season 2 and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1. I watched both of them, and I quite liked both of them. I think that it'll be interesting to see what happens from here on out with Peacemaker. Obviously, James Gunn kind of mentioned that there weren't any plans for a Season 3, but they're definitely set up for one, and they set up for obviously more kind of continuity with the rest of the DC universe. Who knows what's going to happen with the whole Netflix thing if anything happens. But yeah, there are those Marvel Zombies, which we talked about, which in the end some cool sequences, but it's kind of whatever. More on the TV front, Daredevil Born Again. Also, it was some pretty cool stuff, but it was okay. It wasn't anywhere near what the Netflix series was, but it was fine for what it was. Creature Commandos, which I thought was outstanding. I think Cher also agrees with that. And then Andor Season 2, of course, a phenomenal show. So, on the TV show front, we had those. On the movie front, really, it was Captain America 4 Brave New World. Again, pretty disappointing overall. Thunderbolts, a.k.a. The New Avengers, which was really good. It was a really good film, if you ask me. Superman, which I thought was quite good. And Fantastic Four, First Steps, which was okay. I was talking to one of my coworkers a little bit about it. And they were just they were really disappointed. They thought it was really stupid. Despite Reed Richards being the smartest man in the world, just why is he why does he make such stupid decisions? And why is he, just doing this? Why? And it's pretty funny, because it's true. A lot of times it's true. You get outside perspectives like that. A lot of us nerds take things for granted, and sometimes characters that are personified a certain way just kind of behave completely differently for no reason in the course of film. So yeah, that's 2025. 2026, there's quite a bit in terms of movies. You have in April 3rd, Super Mario Galaxy. May 22nd, The Mandalorian and Grogu. June 5th, Masters of the Universe. I've never been a big Masters of the Universe enjoyer. I never really watched it, so I can't speak to it. I know it's He-Man and Skeletor and all that. Never got into it, but it's on the nerd front. So June 26th, Supergirl. Sorry, I need an energy drink. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. July 17th, The Odyssey. Not necessarily a nerd one, but one I think a lot of people are very excited for. July 31st, Spider-Man 4, Brand New Day. This is one that people aren't really talking about a lot. Maybe it's going under the radar, but September 11th is Clayface, a DCU film. This was still on a slate. I thought I read an article that it got pulled. October 9th, Avatar, Legend of Aang. I think this is going to be an animated thing. But I thought I read that Netflix was pulling it from the theater slate and they're going to put it just directly on Netflix. Don't know if that's true or not. Another thing I never really got into, but I know a lot of people are into it. October 16th is the Street Fighter movie. And then, of course, on December 18th is Avengers Doomsday and also Dune 3. So, quite a lot next year. Nothing really in the first quarter, but, things start to slowly pick up in the second half of the year. And then, as far as TV goes, we have A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, new Game of Thrones spinoff coming to HBO Max on January 18th. January 21st, a show called The Beauty is coming to FX. This is based off the Image Comics series, The Beauty, which I read probably the first 6 issues of, and I quite liked it. It was at a time where I stopped reading comics around that time a little bit, but I did read those. And Image Comics they have a very good track record. So, January 27th, Wonder Man coming to Disney Plus. In March, no date. This is a TBD. Daredevil season 2. April 8th is the final season of The Boys premiering. And then a couple TBDs for summer, X-Men 97 for fall, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 potentially. We also have just a bunch of things we don't know when they're coming out. Supposedly we're supposed to get the Spider-Man Noir series on Amazon/MGM, whatever, next year. Avatar, The Last Airbender Season 2 on Netflix. No date for that yet. So quite a bit to look forward to in 2026 as well. But yeah, and then for me on 2026, also some concerts I'm going to that I have tickets for already. I'm gonna see Idola in February. You might never have heard of them. They're really good. I'm taking my wife in April, to see Journey on their final tour, and then in May I'm seeing Dayseeker as well. So some concerts coming up. But yeah, in 2025, let's see. I'm gonna talk about me a little bit, guys. Let's talk about Christmas first. Christmas, hope everybody had a good Christmas. For Christmas, my wife is Filipino, so their family always does a big get together in San Francisco. So we go to this place and we all meet up, and everyone kind of brings food, and there's different things like games planned and all this stuff. And this year I got roped into performing a little bit, so it's quite funny to me because we did 3 songs and I had to play drums. And I also brought a bass as a backup plan. I learned all these songs on bass just in case, because the drums I had, it's not my drum set. I have a drum set back here that you can't see, but an electric drum set. But I had to play on this electric drum pad, and the only way to really describe it, I don't know. It's like a flat pad that's electronic. You plug it in. There's buttons and knobs and stuff, and you can program it. So there's a big circle in the middle that's split into fourths. So one of them is your snare drum, and then you have floor tom, or 2 toms and a floor tom. On the other ones, it's a circle, and then there's a smaller half circle around it, and there's 8 to 12 of those little pads, and those are all your symbols. And also in the circle, so there's a smaller semicircle in the middle of your big circle, and that's your hi-hat. And so I'm playing on these little tiny pads, and like when I need to hit the ride symbol or crash symbol, it's like it's such a small, it's like the width of like 2 quarters to hit that pad. And so I had to kind of like practice on it for a week. That's really all I had, because I don't own it, and someone let me borrow it to bring, because I can't bring my whole drum set. We didn't have room in the car for it. So, I had to learn on this little pad thing. And not only that, we didn't practice at all together. So I'm learning the songs through like recordings of the songs that are on Apple Music or whatever. I'm not learning based on the sheet music that they have or the arrangements that they have, so definitely wasn't super prepared. We did 3 songs. We did a Filipino song called Pasko na Naman, and then we did Feliz Navidad, and we did We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And so it ended up okay. The only things were like where certain choruses repeat that I wasn't prepared for them not to repeat, because like the versions we played were like abridged versions. They weren't like the full version, but I learned the full version, and so it's just kind of like listening, as and it was easier when everyone's singing, because you can kind of adjust to that. And sometimes the drum beats aren't super different. It's just like, is the hi-hat open or closed, or are you how many times am I hitting the snare, like kind of things like that. So that all worked out pretty well, surprisingly. So we did that, and other than that, I mean, in 2025, I got promoted earlier this year. My responsibilities literally tripled like 2 months after that, with no no incentive for it. It's just we're giving you more work and you got to do it. And so it's been a learning period for me. I feel good. I feel more comfortable. I feel capable. A lot of times, you start something, you feel like you're not super prepared for it, and it makes you kind of feel like you're failing a lot. And I didn't really have that much. I feel like there's certain things I had to get used to, and certain ways of thinking, and certain ways to enact strategic directives and things like that. So that's been an adventure. And then also I've been getting my Star Wars sleeve done. Pretty much all that work I got done this year. If you have a camera, if you have a camera, if you're watching this, I'll show you. So I started with okay, I'll just grab my cam here. So we got Queen Amidala. That's the first one I got this year. I got it done on Mother's Day, because she's a mommy mom. Parts of this are still not this, but we got a bunch of sessions done to get Darth Maul here. We got some lava in the background, and then some like buildings in Mustafar that you can't really see. Got this little battle going on here, the Duel of Fates. Just started on some outlines for Boba Fett, this Tauntaun with Luke on it, and then Yoda back here. We got Yoda. Those are all outlined on the same day that Ahsoka was done. So I'm going to get those filled in next time. And then we got Darth Vader right here, right in the crux of my elbow ditch. That shit hurt. We got a Star Destroyer below him, which was a cover-up. And then we started on some background as well, some spacey stuff. I got 7 TIE fighters flying around on my arm now, and then we got Princess Leia right here in my inner bicep as well. So that was all done this year, and you know, pretty excited to get it finished. So after I get the Tauntaun filled in and Yoda and sorry, Tauntaun, Yoda, and Boba Fett, then pretty much all I have to do is get the rest of the background colored in. There's room on my elbow, so I'll probably end up getting something there. I don't know what though. If you have suggestions, let me know. I was thinking maybe like a Jawa, like just the head, like the face of a bantha, you know. What else? Maybe the Sarlacc pit could be cool. Might be weird. I was thinking of a couple other ones that might fit. It's just tough because of the way the space is. You know, like if I put it straight like this, it's not. It's like a lot of room, but it's. Oh yeah, I have General Grievous back there on the back of my arm too. I completely forgot about that. So I got, once I get some of the things colored in, it'll be easy to kind of, there's some background and maybe we can add one or two more things. Who knows? But pretty cool, pretty cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next year. Hopefully we can travel some more. Maybe go to the Philippines. Different things like that. This year we didn't get to travel a whole bunch. We just went to like local places. So we went to Monterey a couple of times and stuff like that. But we didn't get to travel a lot. And it happens, right? We have a dog. We can we tried different things. We can't really leave him anywhere. He's very attached to us, and we're very attached to him. So yeah. Anyway, I don't have anything really else. Sharon and I'm sure will talk in depth about the year in review and the year ahead. Some interesting television statistics I saw for like the biggest networks, and kind of where they're gaining and losing, which is interesting. So we can talk about that. And yeah, hopefully it's a good 2026. Hopefully nothing crazy happens to kick off the year, and I look forward to it. And yeah, I will talk to you guys next time. Leave a great review, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll see you next time. Bye.